Hi there, welcome to everyone. You're watching BNS in the Stock Game right here on ET Now on day 4, and I'm Devina Menon.
Morning everyone, I'm Avan Dabash and it promises to be a jam-packed show. It's the battle of the brokerages right here on BNSN, the Stock Game. Let's run you through how this game works exactly and just refresh your memory with the rules. So we give a amount of 5 lakh rupees to each of our experts, 3 of which will join us from Monday up until Friday. They have to allot this money to 4 stocks. Only 1 stock can be from the F&O space. Remember, 2 compulsory turns are required every day, and if there is a sell call coming in the cash market, that position needs to be squared off by the end of the session and replaced by a new stock. At the end of Friday at 3:30 is when we announce the winner who has made the absolute amount on who has made the absolute profit in the stock game, in fact, and we will be announcing that tomorrow. So today is the 4th day. We'll have to watch out keenly for the kind of churns that they have made in their portfolios. Let's go across and first talk about the kind of picks that they had yesterday and the stop losses and targets which were achieved.
Alright, all our experts will be joining us in just moments from now, but to quickly run you through their portfolio as of day 3, let's start off first with Shrikant Chauhan and his portfolio. Remember, yesterday was quite a topsy-turvy day, so by the end of the trading session, you had just marginal gains coming in from all our experts. UTV Software was one stock that he kept in his portfolio. Delta Corp was also carried forward. New stocks by Havells and Raymond's again going long on these counters. Coming then on day 3 for Gaurang, this is how the portfolio looked for June'11 BNP Paribas as well. You have the first stock, which is Lovable Lingerie. He had Nifty Futures as well as Raymond, which he went long on, followed by an IGL. Still believing that IGL is good from the medium-term horizon as well. And finally, on to Shardul Kulkarni's portfolio. And for Angel Broking, this is how day 3 stacked up in terms of stocks. He had Syntex again, like Gaurang. He also had the Nifty Futures in his portfolio going long, in a McLeod Russell as well as a Tata Chemical. So it was a long-only portfolio for almost all, in fact, for all our experts. Today is day 4. We've got quite a few changes to be made in the portfolio. So let's introduce our guests on the show. We've got Shrikant Chauhan of Kotak Securities, Gaurang Shah of June'11 BNP Paribas, and Shardul Kulkarni will also be joining us in just moments from now. But quickly, run you through first, Shrikant, your new portfolio as of day 4.
I think my guess is today is that from here onwards we are going to see a trending momentum in on either side, maybe from frontline stocks. So we have selected a few frontline stocks today. We have shorted Infosys at 2835, and we have chosen long bet on Ranbaxy because again the trend is still uncertain, and if in case if there is rally in the market, then we can expect a rally out of this particular pharma stock, Ranbaxy.
Okay, so that's the new portfolio coming in, retaining 1 stock from yesterday, which is in fact a UTV, 2 stocks as well as Havells, and those are the 2 new picks in his portfolio. Moving on then to Gaurang Shah, fundamental guest. Let's see what he's got in store for us today. Gaurang, yesterday 2 stocks have been stopped out, so it's a whole new portfolio for today.
That's right, Avan, and I guess with the kind of expectation that was there in the second part of the trading session yesterday, one did expect a little bit of bounce back to come in, but unfortunately that did not happen, and I have to change my entire portfolio. So I have picked up Hindustan Unilever, Talwalkar, Wipro and SKF. These are the stocks for the day, and I've gone long on all of them. I hope that the markets, the way they have behaving post the credit policy, there should be some amount of brighter side to look in as far as the intraday session is concerned.
Oh yes, indeed. It's going to be quite a tough call there, considering you don't know which way the markets could move and how the outside could surprise. But Shardul Kulkarni also joins in. Shardul, run us through your portfolio as of day 4.
Hi, good morning. Overall, we are having a portfolio wherein we've retained Tata Chemicals, but we are gone long on Britannia, and we've gone short on 2 stocks. One is IDFC and the other is Andhra Bank.
Alright, so those are the stocks in Shardul's portfolio, but let's focus on one more company then and get you news related, something that's news related. ADF Foods, which is looking to spend about 25 crores to set up a plant in Gujarat, also lining up about closer to 100 odd crores in terms of acquisition plans in US and Australia. We've got to the management to discuss all of that and more, as well as warrants that they're looking to allot to promoters. We've got the management, Mr. Bimal Thakkar, the MD of ADF Foods Limited, who's joining us on the phone line from Mumbai. Thanks a lot to Mr. Thakkar for joining in. Firstly, let's focus on the corporate action bit which has come out, which is how much warrants are you looking to allot to promoters and at what price?
Well, hi, good morning. We're looking at allotting 2 million warrants and the price is finalized as 65 rupees.
Can you tell us, why exactly are you looking to raise this money at this point in time?
Well, we are on a growth trajectory, and the company will continue to need funds. We showed our commitment in terms of getting the promoters to invest in the company first.
And how did you arrive at the price point of 65?
Well, there's a SEBI formula which is there, which is a 2-week average or a 6-month average, whichever is higher, and that came to 62 odd rupees. So we rounded it off to 65 rupees, and the promoters are paying that extra.
So, Mr. Thakur, just wanted to find out, how will you fund this allotment of warrants?
I'm sorry?
How do you plan to fund the allotment of warrants at 65?
Well, the promoters will fund it from their own internal resources.
And just wanted to find out, you also are eyeing revenues of about 500 crores in 5 years and plan to spend about 100 crore rupees to set up your facility in Gujarat. Could you just run us through the update on the same?
Yeah, well, the Gujarat facility, for CapEx, we are looking at about 25 crores, and that will happen over the next 2 to 3 years. And in terms of acquisitions, we are in discussions at the moment. There's nothing concrete which one can say at this point. But the company has the ability to look at acquisitions up to 75 to 100 crores because we are a zero debt company and we still have cash sitting on our books.
How much would that be in terms of, you just mentioned you have cash sitting on your books. How much would that be?
Well, we have close to 20 crores which we are sitting on. We are zero debt, so we have the ability to raise another 60, 70 crores on the strength of our balance sheet. And now with the warrants coming in, that will be another 13 crores which the company will have.
With the money that you raise, from the warrants issue, over what time period are you planning to utilize that money?
Oh, that will be done depending on the need of, depending on how soon the acquisition happens.
Any targets that you've shortlisted, Mr. Thakur?
We are in discussions, but nothing concrete at the moment.
Which geographies?
Well, our focus markets are UK, US, and Australia. So we are, eyeing acquisition opportunities in these 3 markets.
What's the earliest time that we can expect good news from you in terms of the acquisition targets?
Well, I'd be disappointed if we don't have some announcement within the next 12 to 15 months.
All right, so Mr. Thakur, thanks very much for joining in and giving us the details. So you do have the company talking about that warrant issue that they are going to have at a price of about 65 rupees. In fact, let's once again pull up the calculator plate and focus on the stock game to see how our experts are faring at this point in time. You do have Shrikant Chauhan's portfolio currently making a gain only on Infosys. Remember, he's retained his 2 stocks from yesterday, but not working in his favor, losing about 2,000 rupees as we speak, 0.6% loss, remember, from day one of the portfolio. Gaurang Shah, and this is how his portfolio stacks up. You do have the stop loss of a Wipro which has been triggered in today's session, making gains on HUL and Talwarkar. All in all, losing about 1% in his portfolio. 5,000 is what he's presently shaving off. And finally, on to Shardul Kulkarni, who is making a gain on his overall portfolio from day one. Tata Chemicals seems to be having a bit of a negative effect, but you do have the other 3 stocks which are swallowing all those losses. So a good gain of about 1.5%, 6,700 odd is what he stands to gain at this point in time. Time now to discuss individual stocks and why our experts have chosen them in their portfolios. UTV, Shrikant, you've been continuing this from the past 2 days, but instead of talking about this stock, just wanted your view on some of the other media stocks as well, which have been in the limelight on the upside of late, particularly the likes of a Sun TV and a Dish TV, which have been doing fairly well.
Yeah, still like this sector is attracting a lot of attention from I think long-term players, because most of the charts of these companies are showing very strong build-up on volumes as well as on price. We can clearly watch very strong bullish pattern on Eros Media, and in the recent time we have seen very good breakout above 155 levels. So in case again if it comes down to this 155, 150 levels, we can expect very strong bounce back, maybe to the levels of again 170, 190, 195. one more stock, that is Reliance Media, is again attracting a lot of attention, and it's continuously building its base. So in my sense, between this 120 and 140, it's a broader range, but we can certainly look for it with a long-term view, and we can keep a target of something 195 to 200 on the high side. For Sun TV, yes, we have some very sharp sell-off, which was near to its 80% retracement of the entire rally, which is certainly, I think, very strong support for the stock, and that is why the stock is bouncing back. But because the stock is still under event, we are not recommending it. Yes, in case if it comes down to 280, 285 levels, we can look for it with a long-term view.
All right, Sun TV, there 280 to 285, those are the levels that you can look at buying into a Sun TV from. But his call or his stock in the portfolio is on a UTV software, still maintaining a target of 795. Coming to you, Gaurang, you've got Hindustan Unilever in your portfolio. This is a new addition this time around. What's your sense? Because, everyone that we've been talking to have always said that though it's time to move into the defensive side of the market, still valuations are not supportive.
Yeah, and of course in the numbers also, Devina, it was a little bit of concern with the margins getting hit because of cost input, and of course the payment to Unilever, the parent company that Hindustan Unilever has to make. But overall, I think going forward, they do plan to aggressively ramp up their competition, and of course there was this news of P&G taking over worldwide operations of Unilever. Big question mark over there. But in terms of moves also, Unilever has kind of moved up from those levels of 280, 285 to about 300 plus. And I guess the initial hitch that the stock will face is about close to 325, 330. That's where it saw its peak. But given the fact that there is good amount of interest coming in, I think it shouldn't be difficult for Hindustan Unilever to cross over to those levels of 225 and 230. And that's exactly where the target is. I think about 328 is where I'm looking at.
Okay, so that's the target price that Gaurang has, 328, keeping a stop on that counter at about 310, high by 0.7% in the session. Tata Chemicals, that's the stock which Shardul has chosen to retain in his portfolio from yesterday. Shardul, just a word on, particularly a Tata Chemicals, but even any of the other stocks in this space which are garnering your fancy?
Well, actually, if you look at stock like Tata Chemicals, we are seeing that stock actually has taken support. Again, that today the stop losses have been triggered in case of Tata Chemicals, but overall the chart structure is still bullish. So I think that in the sector itself, this stock looks the best amongst all the other stocks. So I think one should hold on to this particular stock. If he has a little longer term view, I think it can give him great returns over the next few days. But as of now, I think you can move out from a portfolio perspective. Yes, the stop loss has been triggered, but I think the chart structure still holds as it is.
All right, still holding as a good call there, but the stop loss getting triggered. Unfortunate there because the stop loss was at 367, hit it and started moving up from there, currently at 371.5. Coming on to the second stock in each of their portfolios, Havells once again gets retained in Shrikant's portfolio. Shrikant, why this one, from the capital goods space right now? Because you've got other options also, maybe. Have you looked at a Jyoti Structures or a KEC for that matter, and even the big boys, BHEL, L&T, why not any of these?
Devin, I think, price pattern along with select time theory is always important to look into when we have to invest, especially when we are like working on technicals as well as fundamentals. So in my sense, I think the stock is very strong because it has maintained its trend from 370 to say like 470 on the high side, and it has taken just 18 weeks. So it looks like that the stock is continuously under say like buying pressure. In case if there is any decline to the level of maybe 430 or 420 max, which is our stop loss level 418. In case if it comes down to that level, again one can look for it with a target of something 470 to 475 minimum on the high side, but max even we can expect 500. See, like other stocks, they are struggling a lot. DHL is still into that confusion zone whether the stock will head this 2000 levels or it will break 1870, which is very important support. Larsen is already up near to its important level of 1730, and till it is below this level, we cannot expect any bullish momentum. But yes, in case if it breaks 1730, then certainly we can look for it with a target of something 1800 on the high side.
Okay, that's the view on the capital goods stocks, but Havells is what he is choosing to retain in his portfolio, placing a strong target on it of 485 and a stop at 418. Let's talk about Gaurang's second pick, and no surprises there, Gaurang. You can see a Talwarkar is emerging in the portfolio once again, and it is working in your favor. Strong on the fundamental side, good results. What kind of levels do you see it touching in the long term?
Well, long term, I think with the kind of numbers that will unfold, and of course the penetration that Talwar Fitness is planning to do in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Of course, right now it is primarily concentrating on metros and of course the middle segment of the society. But going forward with the penetration that they plan to do and the number of outlets they want to open up, I think you could easily see the stock moving close to about 275, 300 plus. But immediately, I think with the kind of momentum that the build-up is there, you could look at a target about 252. And in case if somebody wants to buy it from a long-term theory, I think all these consumption-driven stocks like the Talavalkas, like the Lovable Lingeries, and of course Jubilant Foodworks. Recently, we've seen Bata doing wonders and moving, and of course that was one stock in my portfolio the other day that I had. So I'm a strong belief that the consumption-driven theory is definitely going to play out much better.
All right, indeed, and most of them up in trade today as well. Talwar, which he's chosen, is also up 1.5%, and so is Lovable Lingerie. But on to Shardul, and he's got focus on the banking stocks ahead of the RBI monetary policy review. Shardul, you are the courageous one. We've not seen one single banking counter in any other portfolio, and you've got two. Let's talk about the first one, Andhra Bank.
I really feel that the market actually factors in whatever is there quite before the policy, or it may be any event. So I think that the event has already been factored in, and the negative news, there may be some negative news which you may see in the policy. I'm not saying that there will be a 50 basis point hike or something like that, but there may be a negative news which the market is factoring in. At least in case of Andhra Bank, you've seen huge volumes in case of this particular stock in yesterday's trading session, and it's given you a clear breakdown on the chart. So I think that yes, from a short-term trading perspective, I think this is one stock wherein you can take a chance and go short. If it works out in your favor, I think it gives you strong gains in the short term, and I think that the stock may touch 130 levels going forward. You place a protective stop approximately at 143 levels from a trading perspective.
Okay, so at a level of about 136, and he is going short on an Andhra Bank with a target of 130 weak, as all the banking stocks are in today's session ahead of the credit policy. All right, time now to slip into a very quick break, but you do have each of our experts who are following their own themes. You have Gaurang, who is betting on the consumption space, Srikanth, who is looking at the mid-cap ideas, and the banking flavor is what you're seeing from Shardul. Let's find out what their other two picks are, but after this quick break. Hi there, welcome back. Still tuned into BNSN, the stock game. We're underway with three of our experts finding out what their picks are and if they're working in their favor. Let's talk about an Infosys Technologies, because that's emerging as a sell call in Srikanth's portfolio as part of his third pick. Srikanth, is this a broad-based sell across the IT stocks, or is it just particularly Infosys that you're bearish on?
Avan, you're right. We are taking call on IT as a very difficult space right now to hold at current levels, because if we look at the even global trend like charts of maybe Dow Jones or S&P, or maybe say European markets, all are showing a lot of weakness, and in this particular scenario we cannot expect any specific outperformance from this sector. Even say this particular stock is technically very weak, and the last recovery which was there from 2750 to say 2900 was not satisfactory. We were expecting something 3000, but it failed to perform to particular that level. So it looks like that the stock is still under say bearish tone. There is very strong bearish grip, and yesterday it has broken the important level of 2840 on daily basis. So it looks like that the stock is heading for minimum 2770, 2775 on the lower side. But in next maybe one month's time, we can even expect 2660 on the lower side. Other stock like TCS or maybe Wipro has broken all its important support, and TCS is also finding a lot of selling, or I can say there is a very strong hurdle at 1200 levels. So it looks like that the frontline stocks are really under pressure.
All right, that's why going short on an Infosys. That remember yesterday we were in an exclusive conversation with the management of Infosys, Mr. S. Gopalakrishnan, as well as Mr. Balakrishnan, who said that there will be volatile times ahead for Infosys. That's the sell call there coming in from Srikanth. But Gaurang, same sector but a different view, and Wipro is a stock that you're going long on.
Yeah, and I guess the stop loss also triggered, unfortunately. Yes, there are a lot of concern on the IT pack earnings, slowdown in the European US market, offtake and IT spend getting limited or possibly withdrawn. Concerns are the billing rates coming down. I think whole host of problem for the IT sector. So yeah, I mean, one could have possibly taken a view from the other side and gone short, but unfortunately, I possibly thought that you will see some amount of, about a couple of trading session back, you saw IT recovering and leading the kind of market. That's what exactly I thought, that possibly because of a lot of negativity for a long time on IT, possibly that perception might change, and that's the reason I went long on Wipro, but unfortunately my stop was triggered, so I'll have to churn the stock maybe tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. So we'll look forward to that new pick. Not working in favor for Gaurang. The stop loss has been triggered, down by 2% in the session. It's the other banking stock that we're going to touch upon that Shardul has chosen. He had first chosen an Andhra Bank and now an IDFC, and you're going short on this one as well, Shardul.
Yes, we're going short on IDFC also. If you actually see the chart patterns, you're seeing that, on all falling candles, the volumes have been increasing. Yesterday's volumes were quite high, more than 1 crore shares traded on the NSE, and the stock was down to 2.5% in yesterday's session as well. So I think that the major important support level of 125 was broken in yesterday's session. So I think today also you will see a selling pressure in case of this particular stock. Again, it is banking something wherein I'm looking at going negative, because I would expect something in the monetary policy. At least the charts presently tell me that yes, there is negative news factored into this price, and we are waiting for the negative news to come out. So I think that once the news is out, the stock may reverse. But at least as of now, I would look at the target price of around 115 in case of the stock in the next 3 to 5 sessions.
All right, so downside momentum carrying forward on IDFC as well. You just heard the management talk to us in the previous show. 115 is the level till where Shardul sees the counter moving. That's the target there of 115, stop loss of 130. Should pull up a Ranbaxy and see how it's performed over the last 7 days, as well as the 1 month performance of a Ranbaxy, because that is the next stock in Srikanth's portfolio. But this time around, unlike what he did with an Infosys, he's going long on a Ranbaxy, which is pretty much working in the opposite direction for him. That's the 7-day chart, still lower by about 1%, as well as weakness coming in some of the pharmaceutical names. Remember, yesterday, Dr. Reddy's had been issued a warning letter from US FDA regarding its Mexican plant operations. Pharma was in focus yesterday. Once again, Dr. Reddy, the 1-month chart down about 5%. But coming to you, Srikanth, on your call on Ranbaxy and why you've chosen it as a buy call?
Yeah, I think the pharma space is still looking buzzing space, because it's really attracting a lot of volumes, a lot of buying supports, and yesterday also when the market was down, this particular stock has managed to close above its previous closing. The volumes are also great. If we look at the other pharma stocks, then they are also holding a lot. So in my sense, it's a very strong bet, but we have to keep a stop loss at 5 and 8. In case if it breaks, then we have to exit out of it. Today the important level to cross is 545, and if it breaks this 545, then we can expect a very sharp bounce back to the levels, maybe 570, 575. So it's not a purely intraday play, but yes, for next 15-20 days we can certainly look for it.
Okay, so liking the Ranbaxy in the pharmaceutical pack, expecting a bounce back. 575 is the target that Srikanth chooses to place. Let's talk about Gaurang's last pick, in fact, which emerges as an SKF. Gaurang, on the charts, it has been on an upward trajectory. Do you think the fundamentals also support these kind of trends?
The fundamentals are going quite well, Avan, and honestly, I think with the kind of moves that you seen on SKF, I think a very slow and a steady upside move you've seen with a good amount of build-up on the delivery side. Of course, the stock is not very, very liquid compared to any other momentum place that you would want to place your bet on the market, but numbers good, and of course going forward, the future also looks quite positive. And given the kind of fact that from 450-500 levels, if I'm not mistaken, the stock has moved up to the current 600 plus. From immediate short-term point of view, I think I would look for a target about 652, but prudent to put your stop loss at somewhere close to about 625.
All right, stop loss at about 625 for an SKF. The stock over the last 7 days has been up about 1.5%. But Gaurang, before I go across to Shardul, just wanting your outlook on the overall pharma space. Like while Srikanth spoke about Ranbaxy and said that there is still some upside potential left, with the US FDA tightening its moves around pharmaceutical counters, issuing warning letters. It was Lupin earlier on that got the 483. What is the sense here right now on the pharmaceutical pack?
Well, honestly speaking, I think Devina, moment you see Ranbaxy going close to about 550, 560, you immediately see some kind of an FDA warning coming now. I don't know whether it is purely circumstantial or kind of a timing problem, but I think from the frontline pharma, I would rather avoid the Dr. Reddy's and the Ranbaxys of the world. I would go in for Divi's Laboratories, which has been a consistent upside and made a new 52-week high recently, close to about 100 plus. Sun Pharma is the other one. Lupin, like you rightly mentioned, had a little bit of problem, but given the kind of domestic numbers and operations, it looks very, very good. Possibly Aurobindo Pharma, again, this was one stock which had got into the US FDA problem twice, not once but twice, but I think sub 160 level on Aurobindo looks very attractive. So and so forth for Glenmark and Cipla. I think there is plenty of play available in the mid-cap pharma play. I would rather concentrate on that, and even if somebody wants to play it absolutely safe, switching on to pharma, I think MNC pharma, something like a Pfizer or a Glaxo would possibly make a good investment idea.
All right, those were Gaurang's view on the pharmaceutical space. But let's go across to Shardul now and his final pick in his portfolio. All right, I believe we've cut the contact with Shardul. We'll probably try to repatch the line with him. But I'll quickly take you through his pick, and his final pick was on a Britannia. He had a buy call on that one. You can pull up with the plate for his target and his stop loss as well. He got about 520 as his target price on a Britannia on the upside, maintaining a stop loss of about 438 rupees. Should pull up a Britannia for you. The stock is working in his favor this time around by about 0.7% higher as we speak. So doing really well for him. A target of 520, 438 is a stop loss. Currently, the stock is at about 469. So the target is still quite far off for a Britannia. Won't see that. If it is a major move, then you might see it getting triggered. But otherwise, it's still on the softer side at this point in time. But run you through quickly the final calculator plates then as to where our experts stand at this point in time. You've got Shrikant Chauhan. He is making a loss on UTV software. Havells, since the beginning, he's carried forward a Havells. An Infosys is the one that he's making money on. He went short on that one, and Ranbaxy making him some losses. So Shrikant is now in the red by about 3,500 rupees. Coming to Gaurang's portfolio then, and the Hindustan Unilever Talwarkar is what he's making money on, losing money on Wipro and SKF India. Overall making a loss of closer to 1%, which is about 5,000 rupees. And finally onto Shardul's portfolio, and that's how it stacks up. He's got gains in Andhra Bank, IDFC, going short on these counters, so making money there, as well as on a Britannia. So he's the one that's in the green by about 1.5%, so 7,100 odd rupees on the portfolio. On that note, we'd like to take our time and thank all our experts for joining us this morning on BNS in the stock game. Shrikant, Gaurang, as well as Shardul for being here with us and discussing your individual stocks.
Okay, we'll slip into a quick break, but on the other side, we're going to be discussing individual stocks with Rajat Bose, who will be joining in. So we'll talk about three of them, particularly Vijaya Bank, Titan, as well as Indorama Synthetics. And remember, it's your participation that keeps the show alive, so please do keep sending us all of your queries to bnsn@etnow.tv. You can also SMS BNSN followed by your name and your queries to 58888 and chat with us on the show live by dialing into 022 248 3711.